Hello and welcome to the recap of the Neville Richards Premier League Round 7. A fascinating week, arguably one of the most seismic, I would say. We're going to have some good words today. Matt Milne, welcome along.
Thank you, Hazy. Yes, it has been a big week in Premier League, as they would say in the classics.
You and Eddie Maguire, eh? A big week in golf.
Yes, it was a round of upsets, and the ladders had a bit of a changing of the guard, and we've had some good performances and some not so good performances.
Well, these are the ones I'm waiting to get to. There could be a Milne missile firing around later. There could also be a new segment called Word of the Day. We're just going to workshop that as we go. I'm going to give Matty some votes on some of the words he's going to introduce here. So, Matty, let's get into it. We needed a bit of an upset or two on the ladder just to bring it all back together at the halfway point that we've reached now, and we got 3 of them.
We did. We had 3, and the biggest upset of the round was our undefeated Madonna's Peakers got rolled by the back paddock Bullies.
Wow.
So it was 171 to 168, another tight match. Both teams actually had 10 players turn up each. So 10 of each played, which was great. For the Peakers, the ever-consistent Greek god Yanni Lathouris had 39, Pete O'Neill 35, Bull Thompson had 32, while Rich West and Chris Dodds had 31.
So before we go on, when I came in to play on Saturday around lunchtime, Yanni was already in, and you thought the Peakers were just about home at that stage. Yeah,
well, we had a few of the afternoon golfers for the Bullies put in a good performance and got them over the line.
Amazing.
So
great team effort, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So with the Bullies, we had Johnny Wooten out early. He might have actually played with his second son, Yanni. He had 36. We also had the Frenchman, Matt Marley, and Swaney 35, Bill Reid 33, and then Jackie Rowe was on 32. So they got over the line by 3 points. It was a high-scoring match there, and a couple of the players that I sprayed last week, which was Johnny Wooten and Matt Miles, they actually performed this week. Wayne Dixon, who I gave a spray to, was just rubbish again, so he didn't contribute to the scorers, but it all come down to Swaney. So Swaney was in one of the last groups of the day, had to come in with 32 or better, come in with 35 to get them over the line. The Oracle told you about McMuffin. Pressure was on the line, only come in with 26 this week. And then I'm wondering if there is some peakers are starting to droop with that team, because Norma Vogel only had 17.
17?
Yes, 17 for the 18 holes. So I'm just wondering if they will droop for the second half of the season.
So not so much peaking as drooping.
Yes, well, that may be the way.
Wow. That's extraordinary right there. So that not only did they have the big breakthrough win, the Bullies, they also won the big Callaway prize.
They did, yes. A high-scoring team with 171. So, yes, so a few of the guys have already started to collect their Callaway golf balls from the pro shop.
I hear a few peakers were just turning up out of habit.
They were. They had the hand out wanting to know when they could collect their balls. But no, the Bullies got over the line with it.
Magnificent. Again, thanks to Callaway being ideal supporters here of the inaugural Premier League, so that's great. We appreciate their help very much. Matty, the second game, another big surprise, the Goblins and the Crusaders.
Yes, Crusaders up by 2 points in this, 163 to 161. Goblins had 8 players, while the Crusaders only had the 7, and they still got over the top of them. For the Goblins, we had Flea Pollock on 37, the ever-consistent Dan Hopgood on 35, Gary Haywood 32, Beat DeVazio 29, and Dave Milne 28. While the Crusaders were led admirably by Sue Holland with 39. She was out early in the morning. Normie Evans come in with 35. Bill Adams 34. Brian Hazelnuts on 29. And Jan Cogger with 26. But Sue's 39 really sort of emphasised that team there.
Don't talk about it too much. She wants shorter videos.
No, we're going to go in depth here. So it was a fantastic... The Crusaders have actually gone into the top 4 after today's win. Which was great. They even did that without John Leading, their highest performing player. He's up in Queensland sunning himself. Rather do that than play Premier League. And then we just had to see the Goblins are starting to have some cracks appear.
Really?
Yes, we had the Pirates early on with the cracks, but now the Goblins, it was seen that Rick Edmondson was giving his wife Jen a spray after her round in the morning.
Really?
She come in with 26 and he reckoned that it was a disgrace that she had 26, and Rick was going to improve and bring one back for the team.
So
and
surely,
then,
surely he must have scored what, somewhere in the 30s?
yeah,
or
so
high 30s?
Rick come in with 22.
22.
Bloody 22. And then Robbie Moorcroft, who had been up and about, it was 21. So that's where the Goblins were really let down by those lower performing players.
Do you think Rick was let down by St Kilda? Like, was it the hangover of Essendon just rocking his world?
Yes, well, there probably could have been an element of that, but I just don't think he's any good at golf.
Well, there could be a
compared
bit of
to
that
his wife and his son.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Matty, another upset, a third one of sort of huge proportions here. The Warriors going down to the Pigden Street Pirates.
Yes, and you would say this was an upset. The Warriors have been consistent all year. They only had the 6 players on Saturday, while the Pirates had 7. For the Warriors, we had Stu Anderson and Neil Keskinen on 32, Darren Wilson 31, Richie House 30, and then Ando 29. While the Pirates, Captain Solahub there had 38, Juzzy McGrath 35, Gary Thompson 34, Johnny Crossett chimed in with a 30, and then Darren Heaton, the vice-captain, had 28.
Captain Pigeon.
Yeah.
Solar, but he's going beautifully, isn't he? Like
He did. He stood up and he put the Warriors to the sword on Saturday. We also put the heat on McGrath, Thompson and Crossett last week. They actually come up with the goods. The Warriors just didn't have one player who could play even close to their handicap, which cost them. There has been some news with Andrew Wooten and his beard.
Oh, development.
Yes. He was abhorrent again this week. And we are coming up with a...
Is that the word of the day?
That's word of the day.
That is beautiful context.
So he talks his game up like a lion, but performs like a pussycat. So there could be a bet in regarding his beard for the last half of the season. So
a long-term bet.
Yeah, it could be. So he's still to agree to it, but we have put something forward which we'll let you in later on. And with this one, the Warriors going into the bye dropped from 4th to 6th on the ladder.
Wow. Big moves there. Now, that left a lot of pressure on the Hood Road Hookers, and they stood up at the critical juncture.
They did. They got over the top of the Tornadoes, 162 to 157. As you can see, all matches are pretty close this week, which has been great. The Hookers had 9 players and the Tornadoes had 8. For the Hookers, Al Sweeney was 37, Kenny Hughes 33, President Bowman and Jilly Barker 31, while Brian Barrell rounded out with a 30. While the Tornadoes, Wardy had his best round for the year with 35, Johnny Hill 33, Phil Stevens and Jeff Holland 30, and then we had Brian Bell and Paddy Kennedy. A 29 was contributed to that one, only one of those went through. Tornadoes got close after founding last week's form, but the Hookers were just too good and they moved into second on the ladder. Mr. Consistent Alan Sweeney, I have heard on good authority that he played like manure, but was able to score due to holding lots of putts.
Really?
The return of Woody didn't help the cause at all for the Hookers, but they didn't need him. He only had 22 on his return.
Wow.
So, very disappointing from him.
Anyone else you want to rip a missile into, or should we take a look at the ladder?
No, I think we go to the ladder now.
So some huge moves there on the ladder. Obviously the Peakers are still out front, but they've been closed up on by the Hookers. But now from 3rd down to 7th, Matty, as you saw on that graphic, there's only a game and a half separating those 6 teams. So
It is. It's since we get to the second half of the season where you'll all play each other again for the second time. Hopefully we can see some change of results and those ones down the bottom can push themselves up. The Tornadoes, they obviously really need to lift, and it'll be a monumental effort if they can get into the top 4. But just remember, there will be golfers that probably will go away over winter. So it is important that if you are able to play, to come down and participate for your team, because I do know of some golfers who are going interstate for an extended period or overseas. So it is important that you can still try and turn up and help your team.
Now, we promised last week a bit of an update on what's going to happen at the end of the year. We're going to have a special grand final presentation. It's going to be sort of a best and fairest count and a presentation of a few awards. We'll say, Matty, we're really pleased to announce, I'll let you do the honours here, of naming our best and fairest count medal.
Yeah, so we've come up with the name for that as the Drayton Medal, and a lot of people will probably ask what Drayton represents, but that was actually the name of Portarlington before it became Portarlington. So we're trying to come up with a name that is symbolic for the area. So we've gone down the Drayton Medal. So that will go to our best and fairest for this season.
And we're going to have voucher prizes for all the award winners, the leading team, the Drayton medalists, the all Portarlington team. That'll be top 10 players. That'll be like your big green jersey sort of function for the All Australian football team. We've got a prize for each of the winning team members, the ultimate premiers. So that's going to be great. On Saturday, the 17th of September, basically straight after the teams come off on the Saturday afternoon, we'll head into the view room. 3-course meal, which you've already paid for if you're an entrant. If you do want to bring a partner, it's going to be $50 per person. Capped numbers there will apply. We've just got to figure out the numbers just to make sure we can all get in there. We're going to have a bit of music, a bit of entertainment, and all the counts. We're going to have a full-on B&F count.
So who's doing the B&F count in the All Australian Hazy? Have we got someone coming in special for that?
Oh, very special, like really special. 2 thick-set guys with beards.
The illustrious duo.
Yeah. So sorry about that, but it's going to be us. You can be sort of. I think you could be sort of, what's his name? Gil McLaughlin, and I'll try and do my best reading the votes out, and you can analyse them.
Okay, that works well, I think.
I don't know. Who knows?
We'll just wing it like we do every week.
Yeah, that's pretty much right. So you'll be 3-course meal. You'll get a voucher for one free beer, wine, or soft drink, and after that, drinks at bar prices. But entertainment and a 3-course meal included. It's going to be an epic night. I think it's going to be a lot of fun with the counts now. At the halfway point, as Matt mentioned earlier, he's done some extraordinary research, no stone unturned here to provide you with the latest of information. Matt, you've got some unbelievable stats here from the first half of the season.
Yeah, so we've actually got the heroes and the villains for each team in this little segment here. So just gone through and had a little bit of a look to see how players have been performing, and we have obviously played 7 rounds. So I've allowed it to be from the total number of points recorded by a player, and then we've also got an average score of each player for each team there. So, but for the average score, you've got to have played a minimum of 4 rounds. So we put a little bit of a cap on that part of it. But we'll start with the Bullies, where our leading point scorer for that team is actually Johnny Wooten on 207, followed by Bill Reid. So they're the 2 heroes of that. And then the best average score for those teams is we've got Anthony Swain on 33.8 points, and then also Jackie Rowe on 31. So that's the best on those ones. But the villains of that particular team is Chris James, averaging 22.2 points.
Oh, Chris.
So Chris really needs to pull his socks up and get out on the practice area. And then the second lowest average score is Fiona Newman on 27.2. So
big gap there, though.
Not as big as the gap to Chris. They both played 5 rounds. So hopefully those guys over winter can kick in with some good scoring. We'll move on to the Crusaders, where we've got actually surprisingly Brian Hazel, 203 points, and Manny Golfus on 198. They're the 2 leading for that team. With the averages, with 6 rounds played, we had Johnny leading on 32.7 points, and then also Normie Evans on 30.3. We do have to give, I suppose, a special mention to Sue Holland, who's averaged 35, but she's only played the 3 rounds so far. So if she can continue to play for the back half of the year, she seems like to be a good contributor for that particular team there.
What about the low scores on that one?
Yeah, low scores. Ben Oskin only played 2 rounds, 58, so he's rubbish. So he needs to actually play more as well. Yeah. So we work on to the Goblins, where our Daniel Hopgood's contributed the most points for his team, 242, wow. Followed by Flea Pollock on 230. And those 2 guys actually both had the highest average as well of their team on 34.6 and 32.9. The worst 2 were Rick Edmondson, 27.3, and David Milne. It pains me to say that, 27.4.
Does it pain you?
It does. I thought he was better than that, but he's obviously got worse as he's got older.
Oh dear.
Then we go to the Hookers.
Yes.
Brian Barrell's on top of his team with 218, followed by Kenny Hughes on 210. Best averages for them will be, what do we got? Ian Francis on 31.4 points, followed by Brian Barrell on 31.1. The two villains for that team are Ian Party on 24, and then the pin-up boy, Ian Woodhouse, started off with 35 and 36 first two rounds. He's now averaging 28.4.
He's fallen off a cliff.
He has fallen off big time.
Wow.
So he's, disappointing.
Now the big team.
The Peakers.
The Droopers.
We should make that their new name, the Madonna Droopers. 237 points to our crowd favourite Lee McMuffin, 237. Yanni Lathouris is catching him quickly on 232. Those two guys have got the best averages as well, with Lee on 33.9 and Yanni on 33.1. Worst two performers were Buffett Allen on 26.5 and then Richard West on 27.6. So those two guys need to pull their socks up.
Pretty nice.
Our team, the Pirates, the cracks appearing. Let's see how we go here. Juzzy McGrath, 219 points as the leader, followed by Mickey McNeil, 192. From an averages perspective, those two guys are averaging the best again, with Mickey on 32 and Juzzy McGrath on 31.3. Worst two performers are Yvette Pollock on 24.2 and Johnny Crossett on 25.6. So both of them need to lift.
I just want to, before you go on with the Tornadoes, Mickey McNeil's written a fantastic story helping me along with the June monthly medal story. It'll be going up in the next couple of days. I recommend this to you. One of the great self-exposés of a round that I've ever read.
He does like talking about himself.
It's extraordinary.
Rates himself highly, so it wouldn't surprise me that it's a good article. We go into the Tornadoes, which is our lowest scoring teams. Highest scorer has been Johnny Donovan Hill, 205 points. Imagine if he actually had proper golf clubs, he'd actually be more. I think he needs to buy another set and a new putter as well. Second highest is Shawnee Ward on 198, which is fantastic for him. He's played all 7 rounds as well. Best two averages go to Phil Stevens on 31 points and Brian Bell on 30.2, while the worst two performers is Judy Said on 25.8 and also Paul Kirby, 26.3 for them. And then our last team, the Warriors. We've got Neil Keskinen, which actually surprised me, but he was 204. But their leading scorer was Stewie Anderson with 235, so he's performing really well. He had the best average for the team on 33.6, while Nipper Dodds has got the second best average on 31. The worst performing player for the Warriors was Andrew Wooten.
Oh no, you're kidding.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that. And then also...
what's he averaging at the moment?
27.9.
Isn't he off 2?
Yeah, he might be up to 5 now.
5.
But Barry Doyle was 28.3. But Ando, as I said, played all 7 games, and you look at his scores and he has got nothing.
So I'm really looking forward to the terms of the bet, the beard removal bet, because I know you can't break the news now, but if we get that contract signed, it's going to be pretty epic.
It will be. And for people who know Ando, he's the guy that's got the big Ned Kelly beard. He loves it. It's part of his mantra, and he doesn't want to lose it. But I think if we can get him to sign up onto this bet, we could see the beard go.
Nice. Well, that's good work from you, Matty. Great statistics. Excellent use of abhorrent. Good little bonus word mantra there. So you're on fire. Congratulations on your first half of the year.
Thank you, Hazy. You've compared this very well, or hosted it, and I just sort of get guided by you. But it's been good fun. I hope everyone's had a bit of a laugh, and we haven't caused too much distress to players. But we're just here for the entertainment value.
And we are indeed. I want it to be known that Kingy didn't get a mention until right now.
I was always told not to say anything nice if you can't say anything nice at all.
We're going to take a week off with the bye here. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with a preview of round 8 and just a bit more of an update on the big Drayton Medal night. Matty, thank you. We'll chat to you then.
Thank you, Hazy. Love you, Kingy.